Okay, so today we're going to use the word nothing to work through how to read a spectrogram. And we're going to look at three different sections. We're going to look at a sonorant, actually two sonorants in this case, an obstruent, and some different vowels. And as you can see, our word is nothing, and it's a lot easier than actually you might think it would be. So we're going to actually start right here in the center with our obstruent. Now this is a th, which is a dental fricative, by the way, and you can kind of see it's an obstruent, which you need to use some sort of obstruent. You need to use some kind of obstacle that the air needs to go through. There has to kind of be something in the way when you make these sort of sounds. So you can see here in a fricative, there's a definite difference between the rest of the sounds in here. There's nothing going on right here in the spectrogram, but when you look up here at the waveform, you see that there's a little bit of white noise happening, which is for a couple of different reasons. While this is a voiceless, you're not going to see it as big as some of these other waveforms are. And then you've got a lot of white noise right here, which also translates down here into this empty white noise space. But now we're going to look right into our sonorants. Here we have an n and an both at different placements in the mouth. But the n, we're going to see it is a lot easier to tell apart from some of the other things. It is almost very similar in structure to the vowels. As you can see, the formants aren't quite as pronounced as they are here in these vowels, but you can still see there's something that you're looking for, but it's not completely empty as an obstruent is. There's still something that the air is going through. And it's a little different over here because of the placement, but you can still see there's a couple of formants that you can try to pull out from it. So you see those are both our sonorants. And here for our vowels, we have, this is actually a schwa. The way I said nothing when I recorded it, it came out as very central, which you can see through our formant 1, which is not very low, but it's not very high, which we know that if you inverse the formants, the formant 1 relation, or the formant 1, you inverse how its height, you can kind of see where the vowel is height-wise, and then your difference between formant 2 and formant 1, if you do the inverse there, you can see kind of how far back it is. So we see here that the formant 1 is not very low, but it's also not very high. We can kind of guess that this would be at about 670 hertz. And so that's not very, very low, but it's also not very high. So we can kind of see that it's a central vowel. And then it's, you see here, we also have a 1755-ish for our second formant. And then if you do the difference there, it would be a little over 1,000. So it's not quite low, and it's not quite front or back in that aspect either. There's a lot of things we can work at here, versus here with the with this vowel, with our ing, our e, we have kind of a lower formant, which shows that it's a little higher than our schwa, but it's not quite higher. If we look right here, it's just about 100 hertz lower than our schwa is. Not even that. So it's just a little higher than our schwa, but not quite. Whereas our formant 2, you can kind of see going up into our ing, which is kind of, they all kind of connect together, but you can see that this is higher, which means this is going to be, there's going to be a larger difference there, which means this is going to be more front compared to our schwa right here. And then you can also look right up here at our wavelengths to see some of the differences. You can see a lot of similarities between our vowels and how they're functioned there, and our sonorants have a similar kind of function, but it also has to do with the voicing and the manner of articulation here. You see a lot of that through our wavelengths, which are very different, but you can definitely see here for our obstruent, it's very open, a lot of white noise. Our sonorants are going to be similar structures to vowels, but they're not going to be as easy to point out and to they're not going to be as obvious as vowels are here, with especially with their formants. So I hope this helped a lot. I know it helped me, especially giving it a second go around, but that's how you look at a spectrogram in a couple of different ways to read it.